Brought to you by Popeyes. They could pay me later.
And Red Bull. They're not going to pay us at all ever.
No, it's fine.
Welcome, guys, to podcast number 2. You might have totally forgot that we were planning on doing podcasts because it's been so long. But
A while.
we got married, and
That was fun.
we'll talk more about that in a different podcast. But for now, we're just trying to get back into a routine. So here's a new podcast. What's today's topic, babe?
Today's topic is, does working together put a strain on our relationship? Would you like to start off?
Sure.
Cap.
Oh, before we begin, I just want to say that if you guys are new to our podcast or didn't see the last one, this is like intended for you to just kind of put this in the background and listen to us. You can look at us if you want, but it's not really the purpose.
Yeah, the purpose.
Okay, so does working together put a strain on our relationship? Again, for anybody new or who doesn't know us personally, or maybe doesn't know, we work together. That's how we met. I don't think that it puts a strain on our relationship, and mostly that's because our entire relationship, we've been working together. I think it would be different for us if we'd never worked together and then suddenly we did. But because I met you at work, we dated while you were at work, I don't think it does. We do have some rules we put in place, like we can talk about work like in the car on the way home, but usually by the time we get home, it's almost no more talking about work. We don't talk about what we do. We don't talk about things that frustrate us because we'll just get each other ramped up and it won't be good, especially since both of us don't necessarily love our jobs. So if we get each other going, we can get into really depressive or hateful attitudes. Not at each other.
Yeah.
But just like in general, which corresponds to us getting mad at or more testy at one another if we're in a testy mood.
Mostly me.
But I don't think that it directly puts a strain on our relationship because we're used to it and because we have set boundaries that we know when we need to stop talking about work when we're at home doing our personal life stuff.
Right.
What do you think?
I mean, yeah, you kind of said it all. When we first kind of started working together, it was a little weird because we would see each other all day at work and then we'd come home and see each other. And it was kind of hard because, at least from me, before I met Danielle, I basically spent my whole life by myself. Well, not my whole life, but since I moved here and been working, I've pretty much spent all that time by myself in my free time. So to end up spending after work not doing what I normally do, like, kind of
Seeing a girl.
Right.
Having someone over.
Right. It was just kind of weird, and it took a little while to get used to. But it also helped that Danielle kind of let me do what I wanted to do when we were home so that I wasn't like,
Yeah. I think that's another important thing that we do is because we see each other all day at work, when we come home, you play video games and I let you play video games. And I interrupt you, but like I don't ask for your attention very often. And when I do,
Okay.
like there's a reason. But I kind of let you do your thing. And so I think that works. I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like sometimes my mom or my dad will call me and be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just like whatever on the computer or watching TV." And they're like, "What's Trevor doing?" I was like, "He's playing video games. I don't know." And, like, that's weird for a lot of people because normally when you'd come home from work, you would spend time with your significant other. But because we spend time all day together, when we come home from work, we don't really spend a whole lot of time together.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the same house and everything like that. And you come check on me and I come check on you throughout the evening. But we don't worry about giving each other attention so much.
Yeah, and a lot of the things we do, we talk stuff out in the middle of the day, so instead of like getting home and being like, okay, what's for dinner, stuff like that, we kind of talk about it at work, so that's already kind of done.
Yeah.
Same thing with, just everything we talk about at work, so when we get home, it's not like we spend an hour talking about things or trying to figure
like, what are we
things out.
doing tonight?
Right.
Like, we already know what we're doing tonight.
Right. And we just, the time spent at work, yes, we're working, yes, it's not fun, but the time we get to spend together at work makes it a lot easier at home. As in, we don't really overstep the boundary of, spending too much time or annoying one another, and we still get the time to come home and do what we want separately, and it's still not be like a strain on the relationship or anything. So
yeah, I think actually our relationship would be almost harder if we worked different jobs sometimes, because we come home and you do love playing video games and you Twitch and you want to get a YouTube channel going and you're putting a lot of really good work into that. And I know that it takes like a lot of time and a lot of hours and you need to be consistent. And if we didn't work together, you would be coming home and you would be doing that like you do now. You come home and at 5 o'clock until like 1 a.m, you're just on your computer trying to focus on that kind of stuff. And I would be frustrated if we didn't work together. But because we do, it's great because you can do that and you can put that hard work into those things that you want to do, and I don't feel like I'm not getting attention.
Yeah. And we still do. We still come home and we eat dinner together usually and stuff like that and watch, a little show every once in a while. But
yeah.
Yeah, and I think for at least me, having that time to spend by yourself is critical, because sometimes I need time by myself. I need to be away. I need to be kind of focused on my own thing to be able to get stuff done. And by the time you allow me to have, basically allows me to kind of get done what I need to. And you don't care that I stay up till like 1 or 2 a.m. every night getting stuff done, which is nice.
Yeah, because I'm a grandma and I go to bed early.
Yes, very early. So it's just nice.
I think we just communicate really well, and that's like what's going to be good for any relationship, whether you work together or not. We communicate at work, thankfully, because we work together, which means we don't have to do as much communication after work. But after work, if I'm like in a crummy mood, like something terrible happened at work and I'm really crummy and I just want to pout on the couch, you know that. And you'll come out and you'll like maybe watch an episode of NCIS with me or something and recognize that I'm in a shitty mood and help me out. And because we work together, you understand, like when I complain about something that happened, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Which
is nice too, to have somebody who understands what I do day to day.
Yeah, because, I mean, some people, they argue about things, but it's, like, some people argue, and then the other person's like, I don't get it. Like, why are you so upset about this? But, because you don't know exactly what they do, but since we do basically the same thing,
yeah,
when something really crappy happens, we're kind of empathetic towards each other because we know exactly how each other feels.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's sympathetic.
One of them. I don't know.
I think it's sympathetic. Sympathetic is when you feel the same thing. Empathetic is when
you pretend to feel?
No,
like
it's when you haven't been in the situation but you feel for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, sympathetic. Because we both know what each other's going through, and it's also nice that we work together because then we can kind of throw stuff off one another. Instead of, because I know sometimes I get upset at work about certain things and I just get very, very irritated. And then I just talk to you and you kind of like diffuse the situation and, get along with our lives rather than me get all butthurt and angry all day.
Yeah, so back to like the original point of this podcast, does working together put a stressor on our relationship? And I don't think so at all.
No.
I think if we didn't work together, like right now we're both pursuing the options of other opportunities. Like we're just looking into things and working hard on our side hustles and seeing where that kind of stuff goes. And if there ever comes a time where we don't work together, there is going to be like a stressful period where in between we don't know what we're doing or how to help each other. Like if all of a sudden you quit work and you play video games for a living, which would be amazing, there would be a stressful time period where we're trying to figure out like our routine and how we work together and when we have each other's attention and things like that. And like if I got to quit my job and do like videos or videography full time, we'd have to figure out like different things like that.
Yeah, because
and like there's all sorts of things that could put a stress on our relationship if we actually work separately. Like we'd have to talk about, okay, you're home all day, why aren't the dishes done? Well, I shouldn't always expect you to do the dishes just because you're home. But then there's like that back and forth, and like I think it'll be very different if we ever get to an opportunity where one of us works from home, which is what we're shooting for. Both of us would love to work from home. That would be the ideal situation. But if one of us gets to that before the other, there's going to be a really stressful period in between where we try to relearn routines and relearn how things work.
Yeah. Pretty much. So that was a fun podcast.
Are you done?
Oh, is there anything else we need to talk about?
Well, we can end it, but we should probably end it better than, so that was a fun podcast.
I'm also agitated right now because our kids are being...
He means our fur kids.
Our fur kids. Our fur babies.
For those of you who don't know, we don't have kids.
They are not following the rules like they should be.
They're just in extra need of attention today.
Mm-hmm.
Extra, and we don't know why.
Yeah, and we don't know how to help them because whatever we do, it doesn't make a difference.
They
They still want attention. And so
we'll go ahead and wrap up today's podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening. We will hopefully be doing these on a regular basis. So if you have any ideas for us or any feedback on the podcast style, this is all new to us. You can tell from the first podcast, we're in a completely different area. Mm-hmm. We're just trying to make it laid back and a time for us to like just chat. So if you have any suggestions or anything about content or the way things look or the way things sound, let us know. We'd love to hear it. Give this video a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you aren't already, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye!